Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. So I just have to admit, yesterday when I filmed those two videos, I was kind of nervous. I felt like I haven't done this in forever, and it's actually been a long time, like 5 months. So I'm just getting back into the swing of things. So just, no harsh comments. It'll just take me a little while to get used to this again. I don't know, it's weird. Anyway, so this video is going to be all about legal stuff. So if you guys don't want to hear about upcoming bills, like what we've been doing and all of that, I wrote some notes to go over so I don't miss anything. I've got a couple pages of notes, so it might be a little lengthy. So if you're not into that, you might want to skip this video. I hope you don't, because it's all really informative things that you can take with you as far as legislation stuff. And yeah, some of it is like updates about, what we've been doing, what I've been doing most recently. And yeah, so let's get on with the video. So first thing I want to mention to you guys is where I'm actually at. If you watched my videos in the past, you'll notice that this is like a totally different background. I'm not going to show you like the whole area where I'm at because I've been living out of one room for the last 2 months. So, December, the middle of December, I loaded up my car, minus my dogs, and I decided to come out to Colorado. I wanted I shouldn't say like a fresh start, but I kind of wanted to get out of Washington, clear my head after everything that happened with losing the appeal in the Supreme Court and all of that. It's pretty devastating to me. That was like the first major loss that I've had with Kevin through legal stuff. So I wasn't really prepared for that, and it was just really disheartening. So I was looking at jobs, and I was looking at, cost of living and the area and all of that, and I found Colorado Springs, and it looked like it was a great area. I applied for some jobs. I happened to get a job before I even got there over the phone. Nothing major. I got hired at a call center out here as a billing representative for a cable company, and the pay was decent, like $16 an hour, full-time and all that good stuff. So I had the job. I decided to do the Airbnb thing. If you guys don't know what Airbnb is, can't talk. If you don't know what Airbnb is, you can actually go online. You can download the app, or you can go onto the website, and you can like rent a house. You could rent a room in a house. People, I think, even rent like futons. They rent out their living room and stuff like that. But it's pretty much like a really great way to find out if you like a place without having to sign a lease. So my dad and my mom, actually both of them, gave me the idea to do that. So my plan was to drive out there in December, give it till like around now to see if I liked it. And then if I did like it in April, I was gonna fly back, rent a moving truck, get the rest of my stuff along with my dogs, and come back to Colorado Springs. So, it's not that I hate it here, but I realized after I got here how far away I was from Kevin, how far away I was from my dogs. The cost of living here isn't as cheap as I thought it was. What else? There are not really any counseling jobs here, which is kind of crazy to me. So yeah, like all of that together, I just thought about it, and I talked to Kevin and talked to my mom and my dad as well about it. And I just realized that I wanted to go back to Washington, that Colorado wasn't the place for me. It was definitely a good place though to like clear my head and just, get back to mentally, like get back to a good place. So that's where I'm at. I'm in Colorado Springs. I am leaving. My mom is actually supposed to be flying out here on Tuesday, and she's going to drive back to Washington with me. But Mother Nature has intervened. And if you guys didn't know, there's a massive snowstorm in Washington State. I think there's supposed to be 4 storms, and this is the second of the 4. So far, my mom, I know this morning they had like 9. She had like 9 or 10 inches. So they've been canceling like a lot of flights. There's been like ton of delayed flights. And yeah, so it's pretty much up in the air. We don't know if she's going to be able to fly out, like if they're going to cancel her flight, or you know, if she'll still be able to get to Denver and I can pick her up and like we'll be good to go. So we're kind of taking it like day by day. So hopefully Tuesday she'll still be able to fly out here. Plan is once she gets here, pick her up from Denver, which is an hour and a half away. Drive back here that afternoon. We're gonna load up my car. She wanted me to wait until she got here so she could help me. And then early Wednesday morning, we're going to take off and we're going to head back to Washington. It should be like, I'm giving it 3 days. It should be like a 3-day trip. We'll see how it goes though. If that plan fails, if, if the storm is that bad, which I forgot, I saw a couple memes, like people had created for like this big snowstorm in Washington, and they called it like, what was it, like Snowmageddon, or I don't know, it was something like along the lines of like Armageddon, you know, but for like snowstorm in Seattle. It's kind of funny. But so if that happens, if she can't fly out here, I am going to do the same thing, pack up on Tuesday, Wednesday morning, I'm going to take off super early, and I am going to take the route. I just talked to my dad about this for an hour today. I'm going to take the route that I took to get here, which was, so you're going to go in reverse. I went Washington down to Redding, California, so just south on I-5. And then I went all the way down to Southern California, and then I cut over Bakersfield. I cut over to Vegas, stayed the night in Vegas, and then from Vegas, the next day, like I was able to make it like that next night or like super early in the morning to Colorado Springs. So looking at the map south, like it's supposed to be snowing in Arizona. Looking at the map north, it's supposed to be snowing in Wyoming, Idaho, Utah, like, you know what I mean? Like all around me is snowing. But I looked up the part of Utah I'm going to go through. It's not supposed to be snowing. Vegas is not supposed to be snowing. And then California is not supposed to be snowing. So I shouldn't hit any snow until I get up past like Mount Shasta, going over the pass into Oregon. And I've driven that road like so many times, like probably 50 to 100 times or something. So anyway, that is like currently what's going on with me. 7 minutes into the video, I'm going to move on. So next topic I wanted to go over was communication with Kevin, I guess. So yeah, even though I moved out here, a lot of people have asked me, like, are you guys still together? Like, a lot of people were really confused. So we talk twice a day. He calls me in the morning, or like he's scared to call me really early because I have insomnia and he never wants to wake me up. So he usually calls me later in the morning, like 11 or so. So we talk before I go to work, and then he calls me at night before the day room closes. So about 8:30 Pacific Standard Time, like his time. He calls me and then we talk. So we talk twice a day, and we email every day. So we still have like the same communication that we did before. So none of that has changed. I feel like our relationship, honestly, is like stronger now than it has ever been, which is pretty awesome. So yeah, like nothing has changed with that. So now let's get into the court stuff. Okay, so currently, right now, we have one appeal that's open. And where we're at with that appeal is that it's in the Court of Appeals, and we're waiting on an oral argument date. So they go by session or like seasons. So like they go by their winter season or winter session, spring session, you know, summer session. So they were already all booked up for their winter session, which ends the end of March or middle of March maybe. And so the next session, which is spring session, is going to start in April. So after talking with his lawyer, he said we're just waiting for a date, and it's probably going to be sometime in April. We'll get an oral argument date. Once we have that oral argument, we wait for it'll go in front of 3 of the judges in the Court of Appeals. And once they make a decision, and hopefully it's a good decision, crossing our fingers on that, then it's going to make it to where we would go back to King County, which is, it would go back to county, and we would have an evidentiary hearing. And from there, you know, hopefully it would go good, we would win, and, you know, I'm giving you guys the best case scenario. And then he would get points taken off of his record because this case is from like when he was a juvenile. And then that would have him being resentenced because he'd have a lower amount of points. So that's what we're hoping for with this appeal. So also Kevin, like I'm not going to tell you guys go into detail or anything, but there is another appeal that we want to file. Haven't filed it yet. It's kind of like in the air, something that we've been talking about, but if we do file it, then I'll go into more detail and tell you guys about that. But the one that we currently have going on, that is the one that I feel like we're really positive about it because it's kind of like a black and white kind of situation. It was something that the courts didn't do that they were required to do at that time, like 20 years ago. It was when he was 16, or 19 years ago. So yeah, hoping that goes well. So the next thing that I want to talk to you guys about is new bills in Washington State. So it is the beginning of 2019, and at the beginning of every year, new bills get introduced into legislation. Now that doesn't mean that they all get passed. There's a lot of them that die. So like the legislation like kills those bills, like whether it's 1 month in or 3 or 4 months in, they just might not vote on it, and so it gets killed off. But sometimes those bills make through. So right now we are at that stage where these bills are getting introduced and they're going through to the next stage. So I just want to go over, I think it's 3 or 4 bills that I have here, and just to give you guys a brief description of what they are, because there's a possibility that it might get passed in Washington State. And these are the ones I'm going to go over, are bills that could potentially help us and help so many other people in Washington State, men and women. I know I always talk about Kevin, and a lot of people just talk about men in prison in Washington, but there's so many women that are incarcerated as well. So I definitely don't want to leave them out because it could totally help a lot of women as well. So the first bill I want to talk about is SB, and what that means is, so SB is always going to be a Senate bill, so it's a bill that goes through the Senate first, and HB is going to be a House bill. So the first one is SB5819. And so this bill is the main one that we're working on, hopefully getting passed, and it's the Post-Conviction Review Board bill. So pretty much, I'm just going to give you guys my brief synopsis, and I'll post this in the description box if you guys want to look it up yourself. That way you can do that from there. But so Washington State only has parole for sex offenders, for people that committed crimes before, I think it's 1984, and now for juveniles. It's called the ISRB. So it's pretty much like a parole board that they go in front of, and then they decide if you're able to be released early or not. Everybody else does not qualify for that. So we've been trying I've been working off and on with a group called Washington CAN, Community Action Network, out of Tacoma, Washington. And we've been trying since 2016 to get something similar to parole passed. So this is something that a lot of people believe is going to get passed this year. It's being backed by a senator in Washington State, several representatives. It's being backed by a lot of powerful people, I believe, legislation-wise, politically, in the state. And we're getting the word out there. A lot of people are in support of it. So pretty much what it's doing is anybody that served 15 years in prison would be eligible to go in front of a quote-unquote, not parole, but post-conviction review board, and they would have that opportunity to get out of prison earlier. Now, I did find out that this also includes aggravated first-degree murder, so it includes first-degree, second-degree, any charges. Now, it doesn't mean necessarily everybody is going to get out early. It just means they're going to have the opportunity to go in front of a board, so they'll have that chance. The only 2 things that were excluded in that bill is new charges. So once they've been incarcerated, if they received any new charges, that was one exclusion in the bill, which I found out that there's a possibility that it's not a complete exclusion, that 15-year mark is probably going to start from the time that new charge was until 15 years from there. And then the other, there's an acronym for it. I think it's called SCG or SGC, but it pretty much means it's gang affiliation. Those are the 2 exclusions. So when a bill when we have a draft bill, it's always going to get changed. It gets reviewed so many times, and they'll go through and be like, okay, well, we don't like this, but we're going to mutually like agree that we would like to do this instead. So I'm just going over like the draft bill, like what I've read so far or what I've heard. So that's the first one, and that's the one that like we're really positive that it's going to get passed. We're hoping it's going to get passed, and it's going to affect so many people if it does. So that's a huge one. That's a 15-year one. The second one is House Bill 1896, and this is for promoting fair and proportional sentencing by modifying scoring provisions in Sentencing Reform Act. So that one is a bill that they tried to pass. I know it was last year. I don't know if they tried to pass it previous to that, but this is one that's similar to something that Washington or California passed like 4 years ago. It's for anybody that was 25 years and young, like so pretty much 18 to 25 years old. If they had a long, lengthy sentence, they'd be eligible for early release at 15 years, except for, I believe, aggravated first degree had to serve a minimum of 25 years before they were eligible to go in front of a board to see if they were able to get released early. So that is another one that could definitely like help us, and it could help a ton of other people. The third one, and this is the last one I wanted to talk about, is House Bill 1751. So this is one that is pretty cool. My friend Heather is the one that found it. I believe she was the one that found it. I'm pretty sure she was the one that found it. Anyway, this one is communication services and electronic media in prisons and jails. So this is pretty much like phone calls, emails, like if you use JPay, it would be JPay because that's what we use in Washington State. So specifically right now, we pay 11 cents a minute for 20-minute phone calls in Washington State. So this new bill, if it's passed, would change that to 5 cents per minute, which is, that'd be like $1 a phone call, which is amazing for local calls. And then also, we offer video visits through JPay in Washington State. It's kind of like Skyping, and they're 30 minutes long. Right now, they're $7.50. If this passes, that would get lowered to $5 for 30 minutes, which is definitely saving us money. And then lastly, emails. So this is the one I was kind of iffy about. It says $1 per email, but what we figured out that means is that for 5 pages, it would be $1. So say you only send one page, like one email, right? And it's like a page, like maybe a paragraph or 2 paragraphs. It would be 20 cents per email. And that's similar to what we pay right now. What we pay right now because we have to purchase stamps for JPay, and for $10, we get 60 stamps. So it's like it's pretty much what we pay right now, maybe a little bit more, but not anything crazy. And to me, like having the lower phone calls would be worth paying a couple cents more, per email. So those are the 3 bills that I kind of wanted to go over with you guys. Like I said, I'll go ahead and post the links for those bills in the description box below if you want to check that out. It's really important for you guys to know if you are in Washington or if you're anywhere and you just want to help us out. If you want to go on, and I'll post a link for this, to the Washington State legislation, you put in the bill number. There's a box for the bill. And then below that, there's an option that'll say like support, in opposition, and support, neutral, or whatever. You click, whichever one you want, and then you click who you want that to go to. Like it'll have the list in like certain districts and say like the senator and 2 representatives. You click all of them, it'll go to all 3 of them. And then there's an area where you can leave a comment, and then you could submit it. And you could choose whether you want them to send you a comment back or not. And that way, they know that people are in support of this bill. So it's just really important for you guys to know to contact your local county representatives. It's really, really important that we do that for sure. Something else I wanted to mention, this video is going to be long, but Lobby Day is coming up. It is February 18th, which is also President's Day. So I have never been in the 5 years that I've been doing this. So this is the first year that I've had the opportunity to go. So I'm super excited about that. It'll be in Olympia, and I'll get more information on that. If you guys have any questions, just let me know in the comment section below, and I can answer any questions that you have about that, or find out information about it since I have limited information on that. So yeah, lobby day is the 18th. This coming Thursday, which I think is the 14th, Valentine's Day, we have another hearing for the first bill that I was speaking about, SB5819. So some important people are going to be testifying at that hearing, which is amazing. So if you guys want more information about that, just let me know. Also, if you guys are not subscribed to this channel, go ahead and click the subscribe button. Please like this video if you guys like it. That would be awesome. Comment below. Give me any tips for any other videos that you'd like to see me do. And I think that's about it. Share this video also. If you guys can share this, that would be great. I think we're at like 2,200 subscribers at this point, and I just want to thank you guys for sticking around because you guys are like pretty ride or die if you've hung out with me from the beginning, because like I said, there's been several months where I haven't posted a video at all. So thank you guys for sticking around. Like I said, I got my head cleared. I'm mentally like back where I need to be. I'm ready to continue fighting the fight, which obviously is to get my husband out of prison. We want him out as soon as possible. He's been in for 16 years this month. Like way too long, you know, especially for somebody that, you know, is completely rehabilitated. You know, he's doing all the right things. He's ready to get out there and, you know, start changing the world. So anyway, if you guys have any tips, like I said, list those below. I'm more than happy to read through those and get ideas on videos that you guys would like to see. You guys can always message me or find me on Facebook under my name, which is Tammy Light, Tammylight. I'm the first person that pops up on there. A lot of people find me on there anyway. Sorry, I'm talking a little fast. Had caffeine earlier today, first time in like over 10 years. And that's the story all in itself. But anyway, I'm going to end this now at 21 minutes. Oh, also, I wanted to ask really quick, if anybody has any tips on video editing that is pretty user-friendly, please message me or link something below, because that's why my videos are so raw, as I know nothing about video editing, or else I would be doing it. But with school, with work, with everything else, I don't have the time to spend like 10 hours editing a video. Anyway, thank you guys for sticking around again. I love you. And have a great rest of your day. All right, bye guys.